Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Presto Stats flag football training. We're excited to show you our flag football platform, and today we're going to show you everything A to Z on how to use the platform. So we're going to walk you through it, and if you have any other experience doing football, this is going to seem fairly familiar to you. It's an easy to use entry solution, but it will allow you to do things fast while you can use both keystroke entry and you can use point to click with your mouse. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get into how to utilize the product. So to go ahead and get started, the first thing that you'll need to do is log in. So you'll go to the login screen here, which we will provide you your credentials for, and I'll go ahead and log in using my credentials. And we will get into our season. As you can see, several seasons over here, you'll have access to all of your seasons, but I'm just going to go ahead and click the flag football beta season, and I can go click on any of these teams that I have access to. Typically, it'll just be your team. And then you can go into an event and go to click on it. And this is where you can go click to launch Presto Stats, and you can get various amount of roster type files. And for the remainder, I'm going to hand it over to Zaid. Zaid?
We will go back to this page as we progress through the event. So within a roster tab here, I've got a list of players set up. Again, if you have multiple teams, you'll be able to change them. For the purpose of this demo, I will just stick to one team. We have the ability to add an individual player. In flag football, you typically will have an offensive and defensive position, so we allow you to set that along with your weight, height, birth date, hometown year, first name, last name, and number. Player status is important because inactive and injured players will not render onto the roster within the stats platform. If ever needed, you can wipe your roster. You have the ability to import many players via CSV text, and you also have the ability to take a stat crew file and upload that as well, or export the file should you ever need it. Go back to our schedule here. Throughout an event, you may want to transfer the data to an external source. One of the ways that we allow that today is through stat partner integrations. Each team has their own set of stat partner integrations set up per season. So within a given team, you have the ability to set up a partner with any of these providers listed here. And you also can simply, if you would like to, just set up an FTP server and have the file sent to that location. That is also an option as well. We do have the ability to send final box scores to specific users that you specify as well, but within it kind of differs from the in-game stat partners because the in-game stat partners will be sending updated files as plays are being entered. The other method of transmission that we have is called Presto Sync. And within Presto Sync, you will log in using the same credentials that you have to log in to the game day administration system. And from that point, you will select an event. And for the purposes of this demo, we were going to send it from Presto Stats to have a file created on our local machine that can be updated. So you will simply select a folder and name the file. Just give it a date. It's good practice here. The file is created and will be available in my local drive. So start this transmission and intervally as the event begins and we start to stat the event. We will see an updated file come into our local machine based off of the intervals that are listed here quite frequently, as you can see. But let's jump back to the event and get into the demo itself. So you are taken to, after clicking the Launch Presto Stats button within the Game Day Administration platform on the Event View page, you are taken to the event settings of a particular event that is not started. Because in this case, we have not started this event. If you were opening up an in-progress event, you would be taken to a different view. The system asks that you define some settings that are crucial to be able to stat a flag football game. Some of these settings include number of periods, which is pretty standard, rush type and pass type. If you're familiar with our other legacy football platform, but this will allow you to define which direction a rush took place in or where a pass took place on a field. In some cases, the clock is ascending, so we do give the option to set the clock to ascending. Spike is a team attempt only. So in cases where a quarterback spikes the ball, we may or may not include that as an attempt based on this flag. Team loss only basically allows you to define it should kneel downs or sack be included in team losses, or are they impacting the quarterback's statistics as well. Participation style is a bit of a unique one. We have a default participation method, which I'll get into here as we review the rosters, but off of the bat, we basically take all of the active players and define them as participants before the event starts. Given this setting is set to default, if the way to set a player to a non-participant is to simply uncheck them from the roster in this app here. Continuous basically states that as a player is added throughout the event, they will be automatically, or if a player accumulates statistics throughout the event, they will automatically be added to the participation list. At the end of the event, we will throw that list up and we will allow you to insert players that may not have accumulated stats throughout the game. We will keep it in default participation for now. Period length, standard. Field length, for this demo, we'll go with 80. Field width is set to 40. All of these are customizable, and you should have specific instructions from your league and organizations on what these values are based on your rule set. Number of downs, some flag football leagues opt to use 3 downs. Timeouts per half, and this is a big one, the first down setting. So in some cases, in a lot of cases, you will not be using your typical 10-yard marker to define a first down yard to gain. So there is the option within flag football, which is very common, and it's the zone to gain. So we basically take the field length and we split it up into an even distance, and the first down markers are already predefined throughout the field layout. Within the spot section, you have your drive starting yard line. It is common in flag football that kickoffs do not happen. So you need to define a drive starting yard line. Right now, the default is set to 14, but these season setting defaults can all be updated and stored locally, so you do not have to change them in the future. Same with touchback yard line, overtime starting yard line. Safety yard line states that if a safety happens, where does the ball start? The next drive start, and as you would expect, it's the drive starting yard line. PAT score options. These basically state, okay, what is the distance for each PAT score option? So for option 1, the ball would be at the 3, and for option 2, the ball would be at the 10, and for option 3, the ball would be at the 20. And the scoring section here defines the value for a touchdown score, safety, and then the PAT score options of 1 through 3. So we will save these settings and confirm. We will take a look at the event details view here. The event details are coming from CMS. So as you can see, I don't have a venue, address, city, or state set up. But if those were available within game day, you would see that listed here. We can add some personnel here. Personnel is essentially stating your referees, your line judges, your scorekeepers, we have a number of roles defined. We'll add a line judge as well. Okay. Now, I did mention that we started a transmission through Presto Sync. I have a local file that was created on my machine here. If you recall that we named it the date, the sport code, and demo. Okay. Start this transmission again. Now we've got our rules all set up. It's time to kick the ball off or start a drive in flag football case. So we'll say that Detroit won the toss. They will be starting on offense. And we asked to confirm the field layout, which direction where are the end zones located. We also give the ability to review the event settings and to change those settings, because once the event has started, we do not allow you to change the event settings. So after starting the event, you'll be taken to the main view. Within the main view, you have the menu. The menu lists out the event settings tab, the event details tab. Within the team tabs, you can view team rosters. And as I mentioned earlier, each player is already set as a participant. You have the ability to add individual players. You also have the ability to import a batch of players. The abbreviated name within team details is pretty important, because you will essentially notice that within the play-by-play, the team details, the abbreviated name will display within the play-by-play. Okay. So we'll start off here. We've got Detroit Lions have the ball. You can see that by the football indicator. This is the timeouts. Number of timeouts are indicated under the team name. Team logos are coming from CMS. You also have your score clock. It's worth mentioning the score clock is not a running clock, but we do require play times for specific play types. The gear references the game control section. Within game control, you can call a timeout. You can reset the coin toss. You can swap the field direction, and you can set the time and period. If ever needed, you can also update the field by setting a new ball spot, new down, the new yard to gain, possession, as well as updating the score if needed. So for the first play here, so select a pass. Within each play entry selection, we will have a specific set of fragments that we require. So within a pass, you've got your pass by, your pass to, your result of the pass, and we'll walk through each of these. Some important things to call out here is by default, we order by position. So we assume that if the ball was passed, we will list your quarterbacks ordered by number first. If it was a rush, we would list your running backs first. If it was a reception, which you'll see here, we'll list your wide receivers first. You have the ability to enter hotkeys for anything that is presented on the screen. So for in this case, we'll go 10 to the quarterback, and we'll say that the pass was complete. The mouse is also live should you ever need to use the mouse, and the app is quite mobile friendly. So if you need to score this on an iPad, you are free to do so as well. So as we mentioned earlier, ordered by position here. So we'll say the ball went was caught by number 9. Um, if you are you do have to push enter after making a player selection, because in the case of tacklers, you may have more than one tackler. So we need a way to denote that. We'll say we have a tackle. We'll say it was the D end. We split the zones up within the platform, as you can see. So zone A will list the first 20 yards. Zone B will list 21 to 40. These are dynamic, obviously, based on the length of the field. The end of this play will be prompted for a play time. We'll say it was a minute-long play. And you do have the ability to add post-play penalties that will impact the future spot of the ball. So we'll say at the end of the penalty, we had a tandem buck, and we'll say that was by Detroit. It was accepted, and we'll say it was caused by the blocking wide receiver, and the enforcement spot was at the 20. And the new field position should put the team back another 5 yards. So we'll put Detroit back to the 9-yard line. And the down result is crucial. Is it an automatic first down, loss of down, or normal? In this case, it would be a loss of down. The standard procedure, do the stats count on this play? Again, your hotkeys are all defined by underlines within the button tiles that you see on the view. So we will list the play result here. At any point, if you need to go to a previous fragment, you may click through a breadcrumb to edit that fragment. If you do edit the fragment and it changes a future fragment within the play, we will reprocess that, and you will be required to fill out the rest of the play as well. So now we are at 2nd and 11. Detroit Lions have the ball still. Let's run a rush. And we'll say the ball was fumbled. Zone B at the 40-yard line, forced by a defensive end. The ball was lost, and it was recovered by the same D end that forced the fumble. We'll say he recovered it at the 21-yard line. End of play will terminate it. You do have the ability to loop through should there have been a continue or a different fragment that was required within the play. Okay. Let's bounce over to updates as they're happening here are being written back to Game Day and CMS, as well as your local file. Progress events will have this orange background. There is no pack file support here. So we'll say that, let's restart a play here. We've got a change of possession. Buffalo has the ball. And let's show a touchdown. Let's say we have a pass that was complete, and we'll select the end zone. Okay, at this point, you'll be presented with the three options that you've selected for the point after attempt. Once you select these three options, one of these three options, you can select. So simply select the result. Was it a rush or was it a pass? We'll say it was a rush. Rush by the running back. It was good. Clock does not change. And the new drive, we're prompting you for a new drive start here in case for the drive that is going to follow that point after attempt. Let's update the time. Say that we went through 9 minutes of play. Let's navigate to a different quarter here. When you navigate to a different quarter, the system will essentially require that you step through the quarter. So we prevent you from going from first to third or third to OT, etc. After navigating through a quarter, we'll prompt to swap teams. So if you are swapping teams, if teams are swapping field directions, simply toggle this option and you'll notice that the field swaps. So let's try a turnover play here. So we'll have a pass that was intercepted, and we'll say it was intercepted by 24, and it was intercepted in zone C at the 40-yard line. And it was returned by the cornerback because, and as you can see, we pre-highlight that based on the intercepted by fragment. And we'll say the result was tackle, and we'll say they were tackled by there, and say they were tackled at the 5-yard line here. Again, you're being prompted to enter times, especially when a new drive is started. Okay, so we are at first and goal here. As you can see, the distance will change to an and goal scenario once you pass that first down marker. At any point in the game, you do have the ability to delete a play. You can also insert a play before. Some subtle tools to help insert mistakes or misses that happen throughout a game. So for example, if you have a penalty that was not called until after the play was entered, you can simply insert that prior to that play being entered. Okay. So typically you'd go through all 4 quarters here. So for good practice, let's navigate through the third period. Again, we're assuming that you're swapping teams because you've toggled that on in the first quarter. Okay. If you ever run into a scenario where you select a play, but it is not the play that you were looking for, you can just click the restart button to go back. Just navigate to the fourth quarter. Okay. Let's go back to the event in CMS here. You can see now we've got the start of the fourth quarter, current score 9-0. Get the current version of the box score accessible here. If you need to go to a previous version of the box score, as shown earlier, you can revert as needed. Say let's set the clock to 0 here to finalize the event. Okay. And here's the event wrap-up view. So this is essentially your final view before we will generate and set the event to finalized, inferring that that play is over. These fields are optional. Notes here will be rendered within game day and on your box score. So now the game has been finalized. We generate a finalized game report for you. The finalized box score is the first tab of the view. Everything is collapsed by default, but if you need to drill in to gain insights, you would simply expand a section or expand multiple. Individual player stats are listed here as well. And here's your participant list for each team. Do have the ability to print, and once you print, we will be prompting you for a specific file type. So are you looking for the individual stats of either team, the players list, combined report, or team stats for both squads? At any point in the event, should you have lost connection, this icon will turn red and you will see a tooltip that states we have not updated. An update has not been sent through the network since X time. We have not lost connection during this event, thankfully, but if you do lose connection, continue to stat the event. The data will be stored locally. Once the network connection has been established, we will re-begin sending the information through our network. Here. Same stat report or similar stat reports are available within the season as well. So if you go to Buffalo, go to the game log, and it will show you the current game that we are on. And you have the ability from here to download an XML or the PDF. We also have detailed season reports, roster files, and then a zip of XML and JSON files as well.
We want to thank you for viewing this Presto Stats training session. For additional content, help articles, and guidance on Presto Stats solutions, please visit help.prestosports.com. For support questions, please head to prestosports.com/support.